Joan Chen stars in the film Dee Dee. I'm David Buchanan with Gold Derby. Joan, I wanted to start by asking you about the tone of the film, which is so poignant and funny and moving and at times heartbreaking, because it all centers around a really kind of transformative moment in a child's life, this kind of early adolescence. And I wanted to start by asking, what do you remember most vividly about that time in your own life?
Okay, when I was 13 and 14, well, it's so entirely different. When I was 14, I was picked out of my first year high school to star in a film. And everybody's worry back then, all my classmates, older, a little younger, is how to somehow stay in the city because we were the entire generation for 10, 11 years were being sent down to remote areas to be re-educated and also to help develop China in the remote region. Um, Lives or a lot of them being ruined. Um, so for me, it was great fortune that I got somehow lucky, just got picked out of high school to do movies. I never had the kind of rebellion that Chris, the character, had in Dee Dee. Never had the luxury of doing that. And before, I was 5 when Cultural Revolution started, and I just remembered, we focused on how to get enough nutrition. And so no, it was a different struggle. After I got picked out of high school and I lived in the studio, I was taken care of, to have food and everything. I don't think I ever had that sense of rebellion, never had the luxury.
Yeah, I wanted to dive into the character and how your own experiences inform what you portray so beautifully on screen. When you read that script for the first time, what was it about her that really drew you in and appealed to you and made you feel like you could, do the role justice?
When I was reading the script, I felt it was almost like an opportunity for me to express myself, because I did go through much of motherhood the same way that Chungsing went through. Um, Also, I felt she was very refreshing, that I didn't see such characters on screen, you know, a playful, artistic, and gentle, confused immigrant mother, and not the stereotypical tiger mom, or strict matriarch that were in the popular imagination. Mm, the the kind of confusion, insecurity that came from the cultural chasm between you and your child. And that I have experienced personally. So I did relate to that character very deeply. She gave me an opportunity to reconsider, reflect, and to be better somehow this time around. Um, with my movie child, but with my real daughter witnessing it alongside. She was working on the set. And so it was cathartic.
Yeah, it sounds very cathartic. You mentioned too that she's artistic, and I think that's the first shot we see of her is at the easel. And I wanted to ask you, how much do you think that outlet is so important to the character, and how did that shape perhaps how you kind of portray her across the whole film? That she has this real artistic sense, and she has a way to express things through art that maybe she can't always put into words.
Yeah, I mean, there is this unspoken longing in her. She is constantly in that state of longing, and that's her peaceful alone time, solitude that she needed in order to sustain this this life that she is in. She's caught in between, stuck between wanting to be the best mother she could be for her children without knowing exactly how, and with being a quote unquote bad daughter-in-law, never could somehow please the mother-in-law. Um, the painting that her rare, peaceful moment is so essential to her. I mean, I understand that really well, and being of creatively inclined, both the character and myself, um, it's so important that the creation itself, just that the action of creating something is essential. When I was a new mother, when the children were very young, I did stop working. And that was difficult. I really missed working. Somehow, something in me, something so important is missing. And that realization is expressed in Chungsing, that she needed that outlet. I mean, at the same time, she's given up pursuing a serious career as an artist. And that's a huge thing to give up.
You have that wonderful scene. You mentioned, the conflict with your mother-in-law, and you have so many standout moments, but that scene where you really stand up for yourself and articulate exactly what you contribute and how you're feeling is so, in some ways heartbreaking, but also it's very empowering to see you, claim your power like that. I wanted to ask about that scene in particular. How long do you think that's been weighing on her? And does it feel cathartic for her to put those feelings into words?
I imagine that was her very first time ever um, standing up for herself. And somehow there are moments like that in our lives that we somehow became courageous and brave enough and true to ourselves. And then looking back on that event, you would think I should have done it long ago. Um, but she is a very traditional Chinese woman. And I remember Shang and we talked about, perhaps the father actually has either a girlfriend or another family in Taiwan. Since he's never shown up, not even for the kids' graduation or going to school, just he doesn't at all show up. And just but Chung Sing would never do anything like that. I mean, the husband is completely absent, but she wouldn't, you know, go out with any men at all. And so there is this void in her that she needs to express artistically or just to put all the love on the children. And that's part of who this character is, an important part.
You mentioned Sean Wang, your writer and director, and I just have to feel like when you're reading this script and these beautiful scenes, this scene we're talking about, especially your beautiful monologue towards the end of the film that you share opposite the character Chris, the emotional maturity that he's expressing in the dialogue is so incredible. What was that like for you to work with him and to kind of connect on this material that is so wise beyond his years? And how did that resonate with you across everything that you get to do in the film?
Yeah, he is definitely so much wiser than his age. We tend to forget, like, oh my God, he's just a kid. Yeah, the kind of maturity he had to reconcile with that relationship with his own mother, to realize the love and sacrifice his mother has made for him, the kind of consideration, introspection, and also in his word, to truly see his mother, was very moving to me. I When I first read the script, I realized, this is most a lot of I don't say most, a lot of the coming of age stories, the parents or the mother usually is the obstacle. It is the problem, the issue. And in this film, it's completely different. It is a love letter to his mom, um, that he understood the the difficulties that the mother went through, the cultural chasm that his mother experienced with her own children, um, to be so unsure of how to do her best for her children, the kind of confusion. And for Sean to truly see it is very mature. Yeah.
You get to articulate all of those emotions in Chungsing's beautiful monologue towards the end of the film that you perform opposite Isaac. I just wanted to ask you to take us inside that process because, again, that is such a powerful moment. I'm sure many folks are moved to tears as I was watching it. It's such a beautifully performed scene. What was it like for you to approach that, to get that monologue right the way you wanted it to be, and to play it opposite Isaac, who, again, is also very young and is having a really emotional and mature conversation with his mother? And the two of you just balance it so exquisitely.
Yeah, Isaac was also growing up and somehow learned to have a better relationship with his own mother on the set, because the mother was with him. They're staying in the hotel. They were together 24 hours a day. And for a teen boy, that wasn't easy. But then throughout the shoot, and because of the movie, he realized the kind of love, and so a little less annoyed, here and there. And for me, my own daughter was on set as a PA, and sometimes they ask her to sit where I am for lighting. And for so this monologue to me was something I so looked forward to do. It's something that I should have said with my own daughters that I've never said, the kind of conversation I should have had with them, but just avoided having them, didn't know how to have it. And for my own daughter to stand in front of the monitor to listen to what I had to say to Chris, I'm saying it to her for the first time. My 22-year-old, I never had a chance to reconcile the adolescent years. We just brushed it under the carpet. And for me to have this opportunity was so cathartic and redemptive. Um, and for Audrey to watch it and then to truly see, she saw me for the first time. And so that was the scene that most moved myself as I was doing it.
I know you moved so many audience members too with it. And it's a great note to end on. Joan Chen, congratulations on Dee Dee and an absolutely beautiful performance. Thank you so much for talking to Gold Derby today.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure, David.